Hi, I am Jill Brotman with At Properties. Thank you for tuning in today. Today I am joined by Josh Berg, who is with Real Inspection Services. Josh is an inspector and he is on my A team. I wanted to bring Josh in for a little Q&A because the inspection is so important, and it's the first thing that happens during your attorney review period after you buy your home, and it's really your huge opportunity to get to know the home that you're purchasing after you've only looked at it a little bit before you decided that you wanted to buy it. So without further ado, Josh, I'm going to turn it over to you after I ask you, what does a home inspection entail?
A home inspection is the non-invasive visual examination of a property during a real estate transaction. You can get a long list of that at the IDFPR, that's our governing body as inspectors, but really what it boils down to is an in-depth look at all the systems of the house. So, when we look at a house, we see the siding and we think about the color. What we don't think about is the fact that that siding is building an envelope that has flashing and different joints and all these pieces that go into it to protect a house. And so it's not just looking at a house, it's looking at the systems that make up the house. So it's going to be the exterior siding, the roof, the heating, the air conditioning, water heater, all of the appliances. You're going to look at the structure, the foundation, make sure that there's nothing there that's worrisome. Even going through a house and opening all the windows and doors can tell you a lot about a structure, because over time structure do tend to settle, and you can see that if a window isn't opening right. And so there's just a lot of different pieces to looking at a house. Basically, if there's a button in it, we're going to press it and find out if it works. And then for the most part, when we look at houses, there's not a perfect house. So there's going to be things here and there. We just want to make sure that we're not putting people in a house that's not safe or that has a major deficiency. That's what we're really concerned about, is finding those out for our client.
Excellent. How do you specifically conduct the inspection from the time that you get there and you pull up and pull out your ladders and your equipment? Tell us what happens.
Us as a company, we work as a team. So we always have two inspectors at each property. Your average home inspection is probably about 4 hours. With us, it's usually about half that time because we've got the team inspection. So I'm going to have one of my guys out there. He's going to pull up. We're going to meet everybody. Everybody's going to say hi. We're going to talk about what's going on, and then we're going to get going. And so that guy is going to take a good look at the exterior, the foundation, the roof. My other inspector is going to come in. He's going to go through. That's what's all the appliances, all the interior stuff. And as we go through, what we like to do is, it's a great time for the client to kind of relax in the house for a little bit. They're not running through it in 20 minutes. They've got that chunk of time here that they can really start, well, where's this couch going to go? Where's that couch going to go? And that's a good time for them to do that, knowing that when my guys are out there, I'll be like, hey, come here, I want you to see this. This panel covers off, and I want to explain to you how this works. This is where that exterior hose bib shutoff is, the education piece of it, because that's what we do as inspectors, is we are educators. And so they'll go through, and then when they get towards the end of that inspection, we're going to hit the high points with them, the things that we want to make sure that they take away from that inspection that day. And then, of course, they can always call me, and I can answer any questions they have.
Excellent. Tell me a little bit about radon in Illinois.
Sure.
Lots of times when I'm working with first-time home buyers and I suggest that they get a radon test, they've never heard of radon. And I would like for you to take this opportunity to explain what the heck radon is and why it's recommended that the home is tested for it, and just how do you go about doing that?
Right. So one of the things that I've always encouraged my guys to do, and I think that makes us good inspectors, is we don't speak in construction terms. That's what, it's just, hey, this is kind of what this should, we speak in everyday language. That being said, science warning, radon is the breakdown of uranium over 4.4 billion years. It becomes radon. And then in a course of 3.7 days, it breaks down even further into carcinogen materials that we breathe in. So that's the worry there, is that it is a cancer-causing element that when we breathe in can contribute to lung cancer. radon is your largest exposure to radioactivity on a daily basis, second only to visiting hospitals for MRIs and x-rays. Every time you go outside, you're breathing small trace amounts of it. What we are concerned with when it comes to radon is long-term exposure to elevated levels. An elevated level, according to the EPA, is going to be above 4. So that they measure it in what's called picocurie liters per cubic foot of air, and that line is 4. Below 4 is considered safe. Above 4, they ask for mitigation, or they recommend mitigation. Mitigation is a fairly simple process. Basically, they're just removing that low, because radon is a heavy gas. They're removing from the basement. They just take the gas up and out. It's a fan, it's a pipe, it's a system that pulls all that air up and out and makes a safe environment for the home. And so it's a relatively easy fix. Never anything that would be a deal breaker for me, but I still want to know what the levels are. And that real estate transaction period is the best time to find out. It's a 48-hour test. So we try to set it up either at the time of inspection, knowing that we're going to pick that up and know our levels in 48 hours, or we try to set it up 48 hours before and pick it up at the inspection so we can have that information within that 5-day period.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And my last question for you today is, I would like for you to give me the best way for a buyer to think about in their mind whether or not an inspector is a good fit or a good match. How does that buyer choose which inspector to work with?
The same way I choose anybody when it comes to doing work with me or for me, and it's communication. I could have the best inspector in the world, but if I don't feel like I can learn from their communication style, then that's going to be a problem for me, especially if after the inspection I have a question that comes up. It's going to be difficult to go back to that and try to pull information out. So in my mind, I want to call, do the due diligence, do the Google, look up online, do that stuff, but then make those calls. And when you get on the phone with them, at this point in our life, if we're able to buy a home, we've made it far enough that we know what people are like and we know who we can and can't work with. And you just need to find somebody that you can communicate with, somebody that can set the expectation for you, who can speak plainly about what's going on and help you understand it, because buying a house is the single biggest purchase you're going to make. And you need to be able to talk to somebody about it. And that would be my guidance on that.
Excellent. Josh, thank you so much for agreeing to meet with me today. I'm really
Sure.
happy to introduce you to my clients and friends that will be meeting you. And just want to help get your name out, because I think that you are
Awesome.
just fantastic to work with. I've really enjoyed the transactions that we've had thus far. And in putting together my A team of people, you are right there with all the rest of the great people that I really enjoy working with. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
And again, Josh is with Real Inspection Services. Their company is out of Deerfield. The number is 312-724-5100. And Josh, I want to wish you a great day.
Thank you so much.